Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone this morning? So good, I hope. So good. I am feeling gouache today. I'm just feeling like, I don't know, I want to paint opaque today. So, I think that's what we're going to do. So, before we get started, make sure everyone has their drink and take a drink. Because we got to stay hydrated. And then, if you would follow, like, and share and Corbiere-Scott Designs with all your artsy friends on these social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and then ask to join our 2 private Facebook groups, Stitch Along with Anne Facebook group, where I'll be tomorrow morning, and then Anne Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook group, where you can post. You can post in Stitch Along also. So I would love it if you would hang with me there. And then for all things Anne and artsy, like, say, Denise's daffodils, like we're going to paint today, go to AnneCorbiereScottDesigns.com. Okay, I'm going to cut these apart. I think it will make for easier painting. Good morning, Peg. So, I think I want to leave this on here. I had a little think about this. There we go. And then I have that just move into there. Yep. I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling it this morning, you guys. It could change. It could completely change. Okay. So the thing I was thinking about was gouache. I even dreamed about gouache. Isn't that kind of crazy? Anyway, so I was thinking about I don't know, there's just something about that opaqueness. You know, I am in love with the transparency of watercolor. I just have always loved it. It's always kind of been my go-to. But I'm feeling like I want to challenge myself a little bit. So, I am going to play with some gouache. And I have many different kinds of gouache. I have these tubes from Caran d'Ache. I have the jelly gouache. I think it's from, I'm trying to think who the, Himi, H-I-M-I. And I have the penguin ones. But this morning I was feeling like, you know what, let's play with these. So a long time ago, I taught a class on gouache. And I had a handout. I think some of you might have taken it. But there's some good information on it, and I thought that we could talk about gouache and some of its properties this morning. So gouache is, and I'll mix these all up. Promise I will. I don't know. Let's stick with this, I guess, for the beginning. So they're often called opaque watercolors, and that's because gouache is kind of in the middle of watercolors and acrylics, and so it's still water soluble as are acrylics, but they have some, well, here's a couple things. So number one, they dry opaque. They can be made transparent, like watercolors, by adding more water. But the cool factor is its opacity, right? And its ability to reactivate with water once dry, and the ability to paint dark to light. Which is so foreign to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so foreign to me to imagine painting dark to light. But I thought, let's give it a whirl. So there, I've mixed up my yellow. Good morning, Joni. I have some orange here, which I thought might be cool to play with. And then I have I think it's an ochre. Yes, I have an ochre right here that I thought might be a cool thing to use as our base. Which seems crazy because it's kind of dark for a yellow flower, but I thought it might be. Yes, the lawn people are here. I swear they only come while I'm teaching a class. Ah, funny. So I'm just going to start applying some color. And remember, we're going to be able to paint on top of this, which is kind of a crazy concept, right? When in this group especially, because we're such watercolor painters and water soluble. So this is like making us step out of our comfort zone just slightly. But I want to learn more about gouache, and the way to learn more about gouache is by using it more, right? So pretty. So the reason that they are so much more opaque, that their opacity is so much higher, is that they're the size of the pigment particles in the paint, and there's more pigment particles. Oh my gosh, say that 5 times fast. To binder, like that ratio is higher. And sometimes they use chalk or white to make it more opaque. And I think the more, I think if you use like the penguin ones, those probably have more chalk or white. And the Caran d'Ache probably have more pigment particles. So I just want to get a base of color down here. Just playing today. I told myself, yesterday was just a wash. I'm just going to tell you. We said goodbye right about noon, which is weird, to our Solly boy. In the morning, you know what, we both tried to work and it was futile because we couldn't concentrate. So we just sat with our boy. And then afterward, we were just sad. Even it's such a weird thing, grief, isn't it? Like you just, like your head knows one thing, but your heart hasn't caught up just yet. And I don't know that your heart ever does catch up. You know what I mean? I think, it just moves to a different place. It moves to, I saw this interview and it was fascinating. And it said, someone who had just lost their dad had said to this person, I want to get back to my old self again. And the friend said, but you're never going to be that person again because that person had a dad and now you don't have a dad. And so you have to get used to this new normal. And that is the stinking truth, isn't it? It's just weird. It's weird that there's no clickety-clack going on in the background here. It's weird that we didn't have to wake up early to take him outside. We didn't, he wasn't sitting on the couch waiting for me this morning. It's a weird feeling. But we know he's not hurting anymore. And the vet said that it was just going to continue to get worse. And so we thanked him for all those years of friendship. And then we said goodbye. Okay. I think I want to do in here too. Thanks, Sammy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's such a weird, and everybody's had loss of some kind. Over the years, we've had many. Let's see. I don't even know. A lot. How's that? A lot. So I want to mix some of this orange with the ochre to kind of get a transitionary color. Let's see what happens there. I think in here I want it dark. It's just fun to paint in a new way. You know, I told myself that's what I needed this morning, a new little challenge. And what's better than a painty challenge? Not much, I tell you, not much. I'll just tell you, my light has such a weird glare that I feel like I have to turn my head in every kind of crazy way. So today, these pieces that we're painting, I don't know what I'm going to make of them. I think that, so I'm painting on 90-pound watercolor paper this morning. So let's take some of the orange by itself. On the sides. Across that bottom a little bit, because this daffodil was drawn kind of with rounded square petals. Let's take some of that orange and mix it with the yellow. There we go. Yep, that's making me happy. The thing about gouache, I think, is that you get such a cool painterly vibe as you're painting with it. This is a very orange. This is a very orange daffodil. So we're going to have to lighten it up quite a bit. Me too, Nancy. Me too. I will miss that too. Jeff and I talked about that this morning. Because he always woke us up super early. And it felt weird to not be woken up by that this morning, you know? No, my crayon class is happening August 24th. You should join. You won't believe what I'll share with you that we can do with crayons. I'm telling you. So go to my website under featured classes. So I need to give you a heads up that there will not be a pop-in paint party on Thursday. I will be in Michigan with my daddy-o. Well, I'll actually still be in the... Okay, so if you are signing up on your phone, you need to... there's instructions in the... where you post it. It tells you exactly what to do. When you pull it up the class, at the very bottom, I tell you exactly what to do if you're signing up on your phone. Just Crayolas, just regular old Crayola crayons. Oh, there you go, Keels. This is fun, you guys. I'm so excited about that crayon class. And I said crayon like a Michigander, crayon. Okay, I'm liking that. What do you think? But I think I might want to lighten it even more, so I think I might bring in some white, which is so crazy because we never do that with watercolors, right? We hardly ever use white in watercolors. Ruth, do you say rough? It's so funny because Desi and Braxton say crayon. So it always kind of makes me giggle. I think I want to dry this. See where I can take it next. By adding the lightest yellow. Not the lightest. I mean, I could certainly make it lighter, couldn't I? I really like that matte finish. I really like the opaqueness. I like that I can certainly crayon. So I just have Crayola crayons, Sammy. That's what I'm teaching the whole class with. Crayola crayons. Crayons. Okay. Everybody take a drink. Let's see. I want to be lightest over here. it's almost like a dry brush. Oh my gosh, I'm loving that. So happy. Kind of move that along. There we go. I'm telling you, the cool thing, one of the coolest things about gouache is that painterly vibe that you get. You just, oh my gosh. So, there, like I said, there will not be a pop and paint party on Thursday. So just keep practicing with your gouache if you happen to have it. I'm gonna try this same. I want to try gouache also on. Okay, let's make a little bit lighter. Get some highlights over here. I want to try it on copy paper too, to just kind of see where I can take it. Just like I was telling you the other day, the way you get to know a medium and a new technique is by doing it a bunch of times. So just be thinking about your light source, right? And you're going to get a little bit of shadow here from this part of the flower. So you're using copy paper. All right, awesome, 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 awesome. Oh my gosh, this is making me so happy. So now I'm going to pull out the copy paper. Did you treat your copy paper, Peg, or are you just painting on straight copy paper? So I'm wondering, I want to paint this same daffodil. So paint the whole, if you paint the whole sheet of daffodils on copy paper, you're going to get a good feel for gouache, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 flowers that you're going to paint, right? And then when I come back, we'll work on an art journal entry. Looks like we need a little bit more. With all these painted daffodils, with all these gouache-filled daffodils. I'm using Caran d'Ache. Let me see if I can find the box, the tin that they come in. This isn't like top of the line or anything. They're just a nice gouache. But I also have these by Himi. These are jelly gouache, and they dry up like this, and then you just rehydrate them and they're fine. And then I also have, well, I had Desiree painted with them, so they're kind of a little bit of a goner now. The Penguin. I used Penguin in art school like nobody's business. So I'm going to try and stick kind of close to the same method that I painted the one on copy paper. Excuse me, on watercolor paper. I'm going to go in with the same like ochre as my base. It's just a whole new, it's very exciting to paint with a new medium like this. Not new, but do you know what I mean? To just, because we're so used to watercolor, it's just fun to challenge ourselves in a new way. There's so many cool gouache. This substrate is just copy paper. This one I did on 90-pound watercolor paper. So a 90-pound watercolor paper you can run through your printer, and you can get it on Amazon. It's Canon. No. Someday when I get my artsy arsenal back up, you'll be able to just go there. But I'm trying the same techniques, Michelle, on copy paper and watercolor paper, just to kind of get the feel, get the vibe, right? And I'm starting with an ochre as my base, because with gouache you can paint dark to light instead of light to dark, and so I'm challenging myself to do that because that's kind of out of my comfort zone. All right, I'm gonna mix some of that ochre with orange. Hey Sue, thanks for your nice message, by the way. So there's well, you can get gouache from any, so there's many kinds of gouache, but if you're just starting and you're feeling like a budget is a concern, then there's a couple ways you can go. There's a set called Penguin, and they are thanks Keels. So there's Keely just posted a link to the watercolor paper that I use. So Penguin is probably the most it's certainly not like what do I want to say, like fine artist gouache, but you'll get the same vibe. I'm using, you can get jelly gouache, which I just showed, and they are less expensive. I don't know that they're as nice as like a fine arts. Gouache, I think that they, oh, there you go. There you go, Peg. And did you get it from a art store? So I'm just going to lay some color down and see what I can do afterward. Yep, loving that. Now I'm going to do that same thing where I take some of the first color, which was orange, then some of this yellow, add some water. Lens. Yeah, I mean, I know that everybody's always looking for a bargain, but man, oh man, I hope that you will support local art stores, because they'll go away if we don't support them. Okay, I'm just going to add a little white to this. There we go. There we go. It is absolutely crucial. So, Michelle, where do you live? Here in Arizona, we have so many amazing art stores. We have Arizona Art Supply, which is my favorite because it's the smallest, and they have the most helpful staff. They're just delightful. So I'm thinking about my light source. I want my light source to be here. Cape Cod. Shut up, Michelle. That's so cool. I love that. So I have an artsy friend that lives in Cape Cod. And I have a friend that lives in Maine. Your neck of the woods. I just want to get, I like to create that kind of a scoop on the end of a daffodil petal, well, the end of any floral petal. I like it to have form and depth, you know, shape. And by this, doing this kind of a dry brush kind of vibe over the dark, look at the coolness that happens there. Then you're not, oh, you guys, it's making me so happy. What was the name of your store, Michelle? Oh, I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have strolled around your aisles, that's for sure. Okay, that is making me so happy, you guys. That is making me so happy that I think I want to bring this one back and do some white. Yep, Look at how much depth and form that starts to bring to just the addition of that little bit of white. Just those little stripes of white. There we go. That's making me so happy. But just a little bit of white on the tippity tips of these little, I don't know what you call that, the little points at the top of the daffodil. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's making me so happy, you guys. Just that little bit. I mean, this certainly isn't a realistic daffodil. It's just a fun daffodil, right? Oh, thank you, Keel. Thank you, Peg. Everybody take a drink. Take a big drink since I was lacking in my reminders. Okay. Look at those. I am loving both of them for totally different reasons. And think about gouache is just like any other substrate or any other medium that we use. We are mixed media artists, right? So we can continue this. We can add. Me too, Keel. Me too, Pegs. Me too. We can certainly build this up with gel pen. We can build it up and we can enhance it with colored pencil if we wanted. A journaling pen. We can do whatever we want. Like, I think I'm going to go over this line. I just want that to be a little bolder than it is currently. There we go. And then I could come in and do one of the mark making techniques that we've been doing lately, drawing some lines to fill those sketchy lines. I'm just going to add a little something something, right? And it's kind of cathartic to do these little additions, I think. It just always brings me a little peace, so to speak. I don't know what I want to do with these just yet, so I'm not doing anything. I'll think of something. There we go. So if anybody's up in the middle of the night I leave here I have to be at the airport at midnight on Wednesday, and I fly through the night Thursday. Does that make sense? So I land in Minneapolis, St. Paul at like 5 something in the morning, I think. Because Delta, you know, with all of that cyber stuff that just happened, they've kind of limited a bunch of their flights, so it was kind of slim pickings. And Sault Ste. Marie is a teeny tiny airport, so there we go. Beggars can't be choosers. Occasionally. We are early risers. Just in general. These little lines are making me so happy. Look at the difference it's making in this daffodil. So pretty. I hope that this is inspiring you to paint some daffodils today. Like I said, paint the entire sheet of daffodils, and then 9, holy smokes, Nance. I am usually up around between 5 and 6. Okay. Oh, Michelle, rain is always like a good excuse to just stay inside and make stuff, isn't it? I love that, Nancy. I love that. It made me so happy. This is making me so happy too. Like, this is seriously, it's making me so happy. Let's do a little bit. Oh, you know what? You know what we need to do? I gotta find it. It's usually right here. If I were a comfort book, where would I be? Well, maybe we won't have it today because I can't find it. It's usually right here. Oh, found it. The black pen did totally add something, didn't it, Valerie? I think so too. Quantum freedom. According to quantum physics, the laws of the universe are probabilistic. I know I'm saying that wrong. This means that even amongst the smallest particles, nothing is entirely predictable. There is always uncertainty and things that can't be entirely predicted and measured. Determinism fails in the face of quantum reality. The German physicist Werner Heisenberg, who came up with the uncertainty principle, or rather, the uncertainty principle, discovered that even if every single initial condition is known, it is still impossible to predict with any fixed certainty the behavior of waves and particles. Likewise, chaos theory explains how even things on a bigger scale, like weather, are not entirely predictable and can't ever be. How many times have we been surprised by a day of sunshine when we were told to expect showers? Similarly, neuroscientists have shown us that the very structure of our brain and the nerve cells within it also acts with elements of randomness. In other words, a key defining feature of the universe, of nature, of our environment, of us, is uncertainty. There is always a space for change. As something begins to change or move, it changes with a degree of the unknown, whether it is light through a slit in a barrier, or a hurricane, or a brain cell. The universe is essentially an ever-evolving possibility. While fear might want us to imagine the worst is certain, the future, like everything else, remains uncertain, unpredictable, open, free. And even the very smallest event in the maze that is our lives can result in the most unexpected outcome. I so needed to hear that, you guys. I hope you did too. I hope you did too. So now let's do some pen work on this flower. That just makes such a little added enhancement, doesn't it? Go. Have you been watching the Olympics? It's just, aren't you just so impressed with the abilities of the human body? Do you know what I mean? And what tenacity and hard work can create in a person. It's just incredible. I was so happy to see, I mean, I know I'm an American, and you know I'm all about Simone Biles, but I was so happy to see the Brazilian gymnast Rebecca. I don't remember her last name. I was so happy to see her win a gold, because she was just gymnast. Well, any of those sports, any of those athletes, the power in which they execute their craft is just, holy tamale. What did you say? Are you doing dots, lines inside? I just do lines inside of these because dots would be harder to see. And I feel like lines are more impactful, Peg. But I might do some dots down here. I might, do you know what I mean? Who knows what I'll do? Peg, you know me. It could be anything. So I'm gonna, I know, and I didn't see what happened, like what transpired that made that happen, Keels. I can't even imagine how horrible that must have been. But I was also happy that Jordan won it. It's just you just have like this sea of emotions, don't you? So this one I drew slightly more realistic, not really up here, but down here. These petals have that raggedy edge that a daffodil normally has. I just want to keep going with my gouache, you know. So pretty. Now I have this tall guy. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the devastation? Oh. And it just goes to show you, in this world of technology that we live in, there's still human error that can happen, because ultimately humans are the ones that are in charge of that scoring, right? At my mom's funeral, this is such a crazy thing. At my mom's funeral, I found out that my cousin Susie hates daffodils. Is that the funniest thing? I was like, really? They're such a sign of spring. And can you imagine, Valerie, you train your entire life, right? That is the you are right. You are right, Gil. That is the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. You're right. Okay. I know. I was like, Susie, no way. She was like, I just hate them. I said, you're not my favorite cousin anymore. That's so funny. I don't think there's a flower that I hate either. I once had a friend who hated, I know, that's in crocuses. Those were my mom just looked for the crocuses every spring. I know. I know, Kills. I know. So this is going on. So this is quite watered down. So this is an interesting take on the gouache. I'll come back in and thicken it up after I've done this base coat. But interesting, right? Bunnies don't eat daffodils. Wow, Isn't that something to know? Let's get some color up there. Roses, interesting. My favorites, well, it's kind of like asking me who my favorite artist is. I have so many. Oh, Peg, that's funny. My favorite flower used to be an iris, and I still love them. And I do love peonies, and I do love all wildflowers. I just love the strength and tenacity of a wildflower. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's tending them. They just come up all on their own. So on the property that my dad used to own on Sugar Island, my cousin Lisa has bought it now. That property has been in my family for well over 200 years. Dig this. My Aunt Florence, who, you know, there's an Aunt Florence art principal, she planted wildflowers there that still come up in that field that's been, oh my gosh, that used to be a horse pasture. It used to be, it's been so many things, and those flowers still come up every spring, and they're beautiful. So that's one of the things I told Lisa to look for in the spring, now that she owns that property. Just look for the wildflowers, and they always come up in the same spot. That is fascinating. That is fascinating, Michelle. There we go. Everybody's got one coat. So I will continue to, is that right? One, two, yeah. I will continue to paint away, and I hope you do too. I hope that you will check out Back to Art School 101 crayons. I hope you will go to the website and look under featured classes and check it out. I think you will. It's only $25, and I have so much to share with you about crayons. So many techniques, so many art pieces that we can fill with those techniques. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. And you're gonna never look at a box of crayons the same way. You won't, I promise. They're so fun. Talk to you all tomorrow during Stitch Along, and then it won't be until, well, I'll send you a newsletter on Friday, and then I'll be off with my dad, and we have a mass that's being said in my mom's name, and then another church dedication that I get to go with my dad and my aunties, and so I'm super excited about that. And you know, I just get to soak up my dad. And I'm sure I'll talk to Kay next door, and she'll have some kind of a plant clipping to send me home with. I love that. So until tomorrow, go make some art. I adore you all. Thanks so much, everyone.